Letter number 22, Part 1, Release. The urge to reach out lives next to the choice not to, the slow exhale, the conscious restraint, the heartbreak that doesn't spill but still speaks. It's not closure, but it is release. Sunday, December 22nd, 2024. I don't really know where to begin. I suppose anywhere is fine. I would like to talk. Every single day I want to talk for many reasons. I keep silent for multiple reasons. First, I'm afraid you wouldn't respond at all. I'm not sure if I could handle that at the moment. Maybe I could, maybe not. The drama response is often quite unpredictable. Second, you said you were going to reach out and didn't, for reasons unknown. It feels like gaslighting again. So I'm not engaging with that from my perspective. There is not much for me to say. I said everything. You know I'm here. You know I love you and want to talk to you. You know I continue to work on myself and my trauma, and you choose to not engage, so there is not much for me to do until you have the need to communicate. Third, I am hurt and angry at you for your behavior not only since April, but even before, mainly since the last phone call. I always try to restart at the last point of contact, as that is the most accurate place to gauge where one is in their process. It sounded to me as you were doing some work and had some realizations. It sounded as you wanted to be in some communication, only to turn silent again, this time for 11 weeks so far, through Emel's birthday. Fourth, I still fluctuate from trauma state to semi-stable way too often to actually confidently reach out. I'm afraid I could very easily get re-triggered and slide back to active trauma or some version of PTSD, which I really don't want to. So I'm honoring that and not following the urge to reach out, as I don't fully trust myself yet. And I have no idea where you are, what state you're in, what level of awareness you have and hold about what happened, the choices you made, how it affected me and Amel, etc. Maybe you're still with her and you don't even consider what happened and the aftermath. I struggle believing that, but I suppose anything is possible. I suppose I would like you to know that I do hope, and will continue to hope, that one day you will find what that you want and or need to have a conversation with me, or that you do want to reconnect. I want you to know that there is nothing you could ever do that would make me to never talk to you again. I believe that you are deeply hurting human, and while I do not excuse some of your choices, I do understand why you would choose them, and none of it makes you a bad person or unworthy or condemned to hell, as you like to say sometimes. If anything, the opposite. I think you need more love. When and how you're willing to accept it and receive it is up to you. Again, all that is completely irrelevant if you're not willing to look at it, which you may not, and that is also fine. We may never speak again, but I didn't want to leave the end to be this, for me, very painful and energetically charged silence, so I suppose I'm trying to release it and myself from the hold of the silence, at least by writing this letter. Will it work? I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. All I know is that texting does not seem to be an option. Calling also does not seem to be a good option. I also feel if I do reach out, you will be mad and possibly project back on me crossing some boundary or me being crazy or needy. If I don't reach out, it can also be interpreted as me not caring anymore or being mad or whatever. So really no good options on my end. I do now know that I am not crazy, and your behavior was and is not okay, whether you see it or not, whether you are willing to own it or not, doesn't really matter. I continue to be dedicated to healing and cleaning up my end of the equation. The trauma that was activated and revealed by your betrayal and abandonment had implications that I am still sorting through and probably will continue to sort through for who knows how long. One thing is certain, I am not ever going to be the same person as before in a very radical way. And for that, I have to thank you. If it wasn't for that, I would continue to behave and play out my unworthiness and live by my fears. Everything inside of me has been touched by you. Everything. Every fear, every insecurity, every wound, ever encountered throughout my life, where I abandoned or betrayed myself or suppressed myself in order to protect myself, in order to bid for connection, in order to be connected, in order to be loved, has been activated by your actions. Every single one I had to and continue to have to feel and process and integrate as they come. I know and understand now where they come from and what it made me, how it made me behave, how it made me avoid and protect on one hand, and how it made me self-abandon and betray myself on the other hand, and how there really was not a true free will available because all of this underlying trauma. My nervous system and body also came into the equation, which I have never experienced before in my life, really humbling me in many ways, as I had to give in completely in ways I never thought I could have, would have, or even thought possible. I did not understand what was happening to me for quite some time, and how I could be so severely affected by you leaving me, while I wanted to leave myself so many times because of the way you treated me and your unwillingness to work with me, for lack of better words. I now also understand better how you could not, being stuck in your own trauma cycle, your own trauma response, also not completely understand your own end. That doesn't change the fact that I was willing and you were not. Or maybe even willingness was not available to you, not for me anyways. Maybe for someone else, or maybe there were completely different motivators there, irrelevant to this conversation. That's yours to figure it out if you ever choose to do so. I do continue to hope that one day you will speak with me again, but I also accept, or I'm trying anyway, that you may never do. It's beyond difficult for me to live with that option, yet it is completely outside of my control, just as was everything else that has happened. I was, and still am, so completely and utterly stripped of being able to control any and all circumstances. Again, I have never experienced anything even remotely similar in my life. But, again, I recognize that nothing less than that would force me to face myself in the way I was forced. I do honestly not wish that upon anyone. I also know that there are better and softer ways to go about that, but I suppose that was not in the cards for me. I suppose it happened exactly as it was supposed to, even though it nearly cost me my life. But I suppose I'm still here, so I'm supposed to be here, because otherwise I wouldn't. I'm not sure why I signed up to go about everything the hardest way possible, just like handstands. No guidance, solo journey, very little support. Only after I had some level of basics and understanding did support show up from completely unexpected sources, which I suppose is part of the lessons. There is more, but for now, as always, I love you now and always, everything you are and everything you are not. I miss you in ways it would take forever to describe and share. I hope you're okay. I hope you're happy. I hope you are doing some work. I hope we meet again in this lifetime.